Hey guys, it's Jessica from Peace Love Books, and today I'm here with a very exciting video because I am back in my angsty romance feels and I'm obsessed. So I spent my weekend reading two very messy and angsty romances and I was like, I need to do a video. I need to talk about these. I'm obsessed with them. I had to sit down to film a video today and I wasn't sure. I need to film a book haul. Those stuff need to be hauled. But I really want to do this video. So I asked my patrons, I was like, listen, I want to do a video. Which of the two should I do? Hoping they would choose this one. And this one won. Very, very slightly, but this one won. So here I am talking about messy, angsty romances. I love a book that frustrates me. One of these, I hated the ending. I was like, what is that? No, but I loved the process of reading the book, so I'm gonna recommend it to you because it's also an author that writes super angsty romances, and I literally listened to the audiobook of that book, 12-hour audio in one day. I do listen on 3 times speed though, so it was 4 hours of listening, but I just sat down at my puzzle and started listening and I literally couldn't stop. I was like, I'm just gonna sit here and I finished the puzzle. So I loved that book. So I'll just go ahead and start with this. So the first one I have, oh, and I will say that literally this morning when I knew I was gonna film this video, Mary from More to Mary posted a video too, literally saying the same things about how she just wants all the angst, and she has some great recs, so I'll link her video down below. But the first one is Slip of the Tongue by Jessica Hawkins. I know that this book is not new, and I know Jessica Hawkins is a super angsty author. Something in the Way is everything. I've still only read the first book because I was so tormented by that book that I'm just like scared to continue, but she writes angst so well. This one is a love triangle with cheating. I love cheating in romances. This has cheating in it, and in this one the heroine has felt very closed off from her husband and pushed away. He is never home anymore. He doesn't want to talk about anything. He used to be so doting, and like his love language was to take care of her. Like that is how he showed his love. He did everything for her. He remembered everything about her from like the moment they met. He remembered everything, like her favorite coffee, her favorite pastry, everything. At one point in the book she even like went to the coffee shop and was like, I don't even know what he wants. She's like, ask the barista, what does my husband normally get to get for him? Because that's the dynamic of their relationship. She is not very likable, but that's the point of the book, so I did not mind that. She definitely is a very selfish in a relationship where she is doted on and cared for, and that's the relationship. So she does not like that her husband is pulling away and meets her new neighbor and is instantly connected to that neighbor. There is cheating involved. She does not know whether to stay with her husband or leave. I was thriving the first half of this book. I was like, this is so angsty, so good. You learn more about the guy that she wants over her husband. Is she really gonna leave her husband? Is her husband cheating on her? We don't know. And so we see things like from her perspective, and then like things start coming out about certain things, and it's just like a messy good time. It's a messy romance. She cheats on her husband, and I did not love, I feel like the ending wrapped up a little too quickly, and I didn't love the ending and like the reasoning behind the choices she made. I was like, well, like, did you really have to do that? I don't know. But there are trigger warnings for pregnancy and talk of getting pregnant and infertility, so know that going in. I feel like that does happen a lot with marriage and trouble romances. This one definitely reminded me of the What He Doesn't Know duet by Candy Steiner, because that one also was a couple where the husband was pulling away and she had this other person come into her life that she saw was paying more attention to her. So those dynamics were very similar. So if you love that duet, vice versa, I've already recommended that a lot. Though I love Candy Steiner. Just read this book. I know now, I thought the second one was a continuation of the story and like it wasn't done. No, the second book's about her brother. So the second book's like a complete standalone. This is a complete standalone. It does have an HEA for her with one of the people, and it was good. I've talked about it too much though, so like check this out if it sounds interesting to you. The next one is one that I read this weekend and it was super, super angsty, and that is The Summer We Fell by Elizabeth O'Rourke. This one I knew it was going to be angsty. Everyone told me it was. That's why I was putting it off. I just like want to save it for when I need an angsty romance, which is all the time, but like I tell myself there's a time when I need to read it. So this one's angsty because in the past, we flash between the past and the present chapters. In the past, in the summer, the heroine was from an abusive household and she got out of it by living with her boyfriend's family, and her boyfriend's dad's a pastor. So her boyfriend is very religious and he doesn't believe in sex before marriage or really like a lot of bad things. So they'll go to parties, but like she doesn't drink because she doesn't want to make him upset, and she wants to experience those things. She sees young couples hooking up and she's like, I want that, but she feels so constrained by her life. She doesn't want to mess up because she only has his family to lean on, or else she has nowhere else to go. And enter his best friend. He comes home for the summer. He is also from a very bad home situation, and he plays football with her boyfriend. There's an instant attraction between them, and he sees her as being trapped and having so much potential of this life that's just so, not crazy, but taking risks and taking adventures he knows that she wants, and he is so angry at her and the situation that she's trapped in. And so he kind of pushes her buttons, and there's obviously no attraction there, and they try to not give into it. There is cheating in here too. I love that. And then we flash to the present chapters where there's a secret. I don't want to explain what it is, but there is a secret, and they are adults now, and she is a famous singer, and he, the best friend, is a famous surfer, and she is no longer with the boyfriend from the past. So that's all we know. There's a lot going on between them. I do think that the past chapters were built a lot more emotionally than the present day chapters. I would have liked more angst in both, and I feel like a lot of more of the focus went to like the building blocks of the past. So I wanted a little more in the present because I didn't feel that super angst as much until the end, but this was angsty. He is falling in love with his best friend's girlfriend, and she doesn't want to leave her boyfriend for the guy that she's obsessed with because of life situations. So it is really good, addicting. I could not put it down. Then another cheating romance is The Choice by Ashley Jade. I read this one earlier this year. Shout out to my friend Brittany for getting this book for me. Thank you so much. This one is a very messy romance because, again, we have a best friend's girlfriend situation, but the main hero, it's his like foster brother. So they met in like foster care, and now they're being in a foster home with the same parents, and they live next door to the heroine. And now this is a spinoff from The Words. This is more like a prequel. You know, they all have a history together, and this is where it starts. And the hero and his brother are like wanting to make a band. We know they make it big in The Words, like they become famous musicians, but the heroine first meets the foster brother, and they both bond over their shared traumatic experiences. They both were sexually assaulted as children, and it was really hard for them to get out of those situations, and so they really lean on each other for those broken parts of them, of someone who understands. And so the hero sees her and is instantly infatuated with her, but she starts dating his brother, and I'm calling him his brother. They're not really brothers, but they're basically brothers. And so he has to live life with the love of his life dating his brother, and we get I think it's a couple years we get seeing of that, but she's obviously super attracted to the hero, but she, again, just like the Summer We Fell, feels like this like obligation to stay with the boyfriend that she has because of just like the deep emotional bond that they have, even though she's really attracted to someone else. And it gets very messy very quickly, and I loved it so much. Like I said, there's cheating in here, and the hero's brother is just like a piece of work. You really don't like him. Like, he has, yes, experienced such trauma in his life, but he is a horrible person. So you don't really feel bad, but I just could not put this down. I was obsessed. Read this one if you're interested. I could talk about these books all day. So the next one is Daisy Hates. I have it behind me right there, but like it's under a stack and I want to grab it. I've talked about Magnolia Parks before, very messy, but Daisy Hates is so messy and toxic and so good. So this one, Daisy is such an interesting character because she really wants to be loved, and so she is dealing with this very emotional relationship that she was in with someone, and it is so interesting. So she is very rich, and she has like kind of like a mafia family, and so her parents died when her and her brother were really young, like in front of her eyes, and her brother pretty much saved her. So her brother's been raising her. He's like a mafia guy, and so I love that aspect of this book. But she was like literally the love of her life, but she was in a relationship with him, and they can't be together, basically, is what I'll say. And so she kind of has an on and off again thing with Christian. Christian is in love with Magnolia. From book one, Magnolia, everybody's in love with Magnolia, and so he was in love with her, and that's his best friend's girlfriend slash on and off again girlfriend. And so Christian and Daisy like have this friends with benefits situation, start falling like really hard for each other, but they both have a lot of baggage they bring to the relationship. They hurt each other, they cheat on each other, they start sleeping with other people. Daisy does not make the best decisions, and you just want to like hug her and tell her it's gonna be okay, and it's just a messy, really messy fun time. I love this book so much. Definitely very emotional. I love all the characters in here. This one is messy as well. Like, Magnolia and BJ are one hot mess together, but so are Christian and Daisy. So definitely check out this series. I really love this one and I can't wait to continue on the series. Then I have this one's like less angsty, but it's still messy and so good. And that is The Wrong Bride by Katerina Mora. This one is a sister's fiance's romance where she actually goes and marries her sister's fiance. So what happened was the hero's from a family where the grandmother pretty much sets up marriages for them and they all have to agree and they have to do these stipulations like you can't spend more than 3 days apart, you have to share a bedroom, or you don't get your inheritance. So the hero always knew he was going to marry someone from the heroine's family. Initially he was supposed to marry the heroine. Something happened where he's like, oh my god, I'm like in love with her sister, and so he is engaged to the sister now, and so the heroine and him are just best friends. She loves him. She has loved him the entire time and she was heartbroken when he chose her sister, and so they're best friends. And the heroine's sister though is dragging her feet getting married. They've been engaged. The grandmother's finally like, you're getting married on this day. One of those women sisters is going to be walking down the aisle. So the heroine knows she has to step up if her sister doesn't and marry her best friend who she's been in love with for years. Her sister is very selfish. Her sister has an acting career that she doesn't want to give up to follow these stipulations of the will. So wedding day comes, the heroine walks down the aisle and marries her sister's fiance. So it is so good and angsty. Of course there's a lot of tension between her and her sister. Like now she's supposed to be married to him and her sister's like, what is happening? And it is so good, so messy, and I just love it. I love a good let's get married to my sister's fiance romance. A siblings fiance romance or a siblings boyfriend girlfriend romance is my catnip. I love those kind of romances, so that's why I just love this one. And the last one I have is just very messy and fun, and that is going to be My Duck Romeo by LJ Shen and by Parker S. Huntington. Now this one like kind of goes over the top like these two authors' books typically do, but this one was so much fun because the romance starts out because the hero wants to get married to her to get revenge on someone, and so this feels kind of historical because like he ruins her at a party where people catch them hooking up and then they're like, oh, scandalized. So she is betrothed to someone else, but they have to get married, and he's like, fine, we're gonna get married. And so they get married and she is so angry and she like retaliates against him, and she'll like spend literally like hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, on his credit cards just because she's angry with him. And they play a lot of games with each other, and she really wants to have a family though, and he is like dead set on never having a family. So then they get into that whole argument of like, are they gonna risk getting pregnant? And she really wants to do anything to get pregnant. But this one was so messy and angsty, and they weren't afraid to hurt each other, not physically but like emotionally or like money wise, and get what they want. But then they were obviously falling super hard for each other, and I really love that. So this one again, it's just wild. It's just such a fun time. It was very entertaining. I enjoyed it. And those are my romances that are messy and toxic. I only had 6 to share with you today, but I've done this video before where I've shared some of these, so I can link those down below. But let me know if you have any recommendations. I know Julie Ann has a new one that people have said is really angsty, and I need to get to that, and I will. But that's all I have. Leave me all your recommendations down below. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a good day. Bye.